Hi, so I still have a bit of time left. I thought I'd make a quick video on how I cast on. I'm going to be using my ADDI lace tips sock needles. There are 5 in a packet. These are 2.25s. Let me use the same color. I have my yarn. Because I will be using it to sew up my comfort dolls as I'm casting on for a comfort doll, I will finish this part and I will pull it up all the way up to my armpit, and that's what I will start with, and I have enough to work with. My tail lies in the front. I go to the back, making what could look like a magic loop, but it's not. Go through and I fetch my yarn, bring it back, and I leave that on my hook, on my needles. It's making sure the loop's in the right direction. If I have to take it off, which I am, I need my ball to be on the back yarn because it'll be making the loops. If I use the tail, it'll be chewing up into my yarn very quickly. The loops is what takes up all the yarn. Using my hands, I open up the yarn with these 2 fingers, and the other ones catch it. They are basically dictating the tension, how much is getting fed in. So I've tightened it. This one here is tightening, loosen, tighten, loosen, tighten, loosen, tighten. Because you'll need to do that all the way through, is you'll be loosening and tightening as you make the loops. So those fingers do work quite a lot. So here we go. Bring your needle to the front, and I'm going to say scratch up my thumb, okay? So you scratch up your thumb, and as you scratch up your thumb, you are catching the front yarn. Scratch up the thumb, catch the front yarn, go all the way to the other floating yarn with this finger, and you're going to basically loop it over. So your hand is working as well as the needles. They work in unison. Now that is going to be the loop that creates your knitting on your needles. This loop here is going to create the base, which is the cast on. Because look what happens. You're going to bring it through the loop that's on your thumb, and you're going to drop it. And as you drop it, the thumb comes back, fetches more yarn. These ones are working hard, these fingers. They're really keeping the tension there. If you don't, everything's going to flop everywhere. So it's very tight. Look at that. You're going to come back, scratch up the thumb, at the same time catch your yarn, go and fetch the floating yarn, catch it over your 2 needles, bring it all the way back. You can literally say scratch down your thumb. Look at that, it's quite cute. Scratch down your thumb, and your thumb now escapes, and as it escapes, your hand is pulling that loop closed, and your thumb is catching the yarn again and pulling it at the same time. So you're in position of readiness. Bring your needles forward, scratch up the thumb, catching your loop, go and fetch that floating strand and have a dance between the fingers. Look at the dance between the fingers and the needles. Going around, coming back through. As I said, you can make it even as if you're scratching down the thumb. The thumb's now upset. It escapes. You're pulling out, but there's still tension here. Look, I haven't let go of the tension there. What I need to do is the thumb has to come back and work again. Duck underneath, catch the yarn, and pull it tight. That's also why you have 2 needles. Later on you will pull the 1 needle out and your loops will be beautiful to be able to work into for the next row. So we start the dance. Bring the needles forward. Everything else is under tension. Nothing is moving. As in, there's no feed. Come forward. Scratch up the thumb between loops, catching this loop on the needles. Going back. There's a beautiful dance of the hand swiveling. But at the same time, this hand also swiveling. Look, coming under, coming back, scratching down the thumb. The thumb escapes. Now you've got this floating loop. If you don't keep the tension there, you're going to have a mess. So it's the thumb's job now to close that loop. You move forward. There's such a little bit of yarn coming through there. Let me see where it comes. We'll see if we can work out where it comes. And I feed a little bit. Ready for the next one. Okay, so that's where it comes. It's feeding for a little bit. But all the while you're doing this, there's no yarn coming through those bottom fingers. And a little bit of yarn coming through there. Yarn coming through both. Scratch up, go and fetch, scratch down, drop, pull that loop. And come forward, scratch up, go and fetch the yarn, scratch down, and drop and pull that loop closed. That thumb has a lot of work to do, doesn't he? And he gets abused at the same time. Scratch up. You obviously don't have to scratch your finger, but it's a good way of knowing that you are this paper a little bit. I'm going to zoom right in. Scratch up the thumb, fetch the other one, come back down, scratch down the thumb, drop that loop, and then that thumb's going to still work, and pull it closed. And now feed the yarn into place. Now the yarn's into place, tighten those 3 bottom fingers, and start again. Scratch up the thumb, go and fetch the yarn, come scratch down the thumb, drop the loop off the thumb, and then the thumb will still work, and pull that tight. And put the yarn, feed the yarn into place. Take some yarn out the ball. Start off with the main thing is to make sure you've got the tension. Scratch up. If you're doing lots and lots and lots, at some point or other you're going to pull it down. I need 25 for my miniature alien. There he is. So we need 25. What I tend to do is I do more than needed because it is easier to pull out stitches than it is to add them afterwards. Because if you want to add them afterwards, you have to feed that second needle back into place. So there I'm guessing, yes, I definitely have more. And a little trick to get the needle out is you take something like, for instance, a rubber. This is a rubber. If it's slippery, it won't work. You basically need 1 needle to come out. You basically just push the 1 needle. I made a hole in there because I don't actually normally use this. There we go. Now you've got it out. Both tails will be on the same end. Now you can count. So I need 25, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 5. So I've got 25 all I will do is pinch the ones I don't need, pull my needle until they fall off, and there we go. And then you can double check. It gives such a beautiful, beautiful knitted cast on. And because you use 2 needles, your work is loose and it's very easy to do the first row. The first row is a purl in the pattern, so just first row is a purl, and if you need to, once you got started, then a few stitches, you can give this a little tug, but that's even not necessary. Everything stays in place. I don't increase before I've done at least 1 or 2 rows. So if your pattern calls for an increase, then you do 1 or 2 rows and then you can increase. These needles are delightful. This is the basic tip. The other end is the other end is the lace tip, which is great for decreasing and increasing with. So there we have it. There's your cast on with the first row done. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.